G'day everybody, welcome to the second night of the VCS 2020 Summer Split. My name is Everyday. With me as always is Yulwei. We have a pretty good game coming up in our first set. What do you think of this one, Yulwei? Team Secret taking on Cerberus.
Hello and good morning. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Team Secret Cerberus, the first series ever in our league that is actually close. You might think, but then yesterday it happened. So, who knows?
What do you mean? It wasn't close yesterday. Flash got 2-0. Oh, sorry, Flash got 2-1. Yeah.
And actually.
The graphic is wrong. The graphic is wrong, unfortunately. It was a 2-0. It was not great from the reigning champs, but let's focus on today, even though yesterday was the day of upsets. Does that continue? Is it an upset if Cerberus beat Secret? Or are they I think it's both of them are honestly in with a pretty good shot.
Yeah, it's a minor upset. So in my projected rankings for all the teams, I gave every team a margin. So I placed Team Secret for 3rd to 6th place, and then Cerberus 4th to 7th place. And I feel like they could definitely, Team Secret could end up placing lower than Cerberus if everything goes right for Cerberus and a few things go wrong for Secret. The expectation is Secret is the better team, Secret is the playoffs team, and Cerberus isn't, but it's actually kind of close. And I want to get back to the 𝗬𝗧𝗺 interview, because of course, if you missed it, go check it out after our broadcast today. 𝗬𝗧𝗺 joined me for an interview for 30 minutes and talked about all the things that Cerberus wants to accomplish. And he definitely said they want to win and they want to go to Worlds. So high goals for this team.
And fair enough. Aim high, right? That makes a lot of sense. Now, of course, there is some pretty big news out of the Team Secret camp. 𝗀𝗍's gone. The Lord has left officially.
Yeah, that's surprising to a lot of us. But they, of course, added a new top laner, 𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗕, as you said. So, formerly known as 𝗧𝗧𝗧. So not to confuse him with a rookie. He's actually the former FTV top laner. And he was potentially the best player on that team. The best or second best player. I feel like he was the best in the last season. So it makes sense he gets picked up. I don't really know if it's an upgrade, a straight upgrade over either of the top laners. I still expect 𝗧𝗧𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗕 and 𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗃 to share time most likely.
Yeah, my feeling is I think 𝗧𝗧𝗥𝗃𝗥's a little bit older. He might have a bit more of a commanding voice, but in terms of actual gameplay, him and 𝗀𝗍𝗺 are the same. They're the same player. I don't think it changes much from that point of view. But we'll have to find out because we haven't seen him play with Team Secret. Will it be a situation where he's now on a better team so he can look really good and it really was just FTV holding him back? Or is he still the FTV top laner?
Yeah,
I know which one I hope for.
Hopefully he gets unleashed here and can actually show us some new highs. Let's look at the play styles for both of these teams. Of course, we haven't seen them play, so if they play completely differently, don't blame us. We haven't seen them play. They've scrimmed for a month. We have no idea. But we think Cerberus is still going to play early aggression, ganking junglers, and Pun might be a new element for carry in the top lane, while Team Secret will probably still play mid-centered with 𝗬𝗃 as the main carry, and hopefully CBL roaming across the map from top to bot lane.
Yeah, we definitely want to be seeing that. But if you had to pick, say, 2 players to watch on both teams, who would it be?
Me, it's CBL and 𝗬𝗏𝗻. Yeah, I feel like CBL and 𝗬𝗏𝗻 are the most interesting players to follow.
That makes sense to me. So we are just waiting to get into Champ Select, and I think we will be going to a short break. I know this was a very short pre-show, and we normally do a bit more. There was a few extenuating circumstances today. But don't you worry, we'll be back very soon. See you then. Welcome back, everybody. We are into Champ Select. The picks are coming in thick and fast as 2 AD carries have already been taken away, locked in. Team Secret got the Ezreal and Cerberus took the Aphelios. It's
so
a
we see
good meta read so far.
Yeah, more meta read than we expected after yesterday. So 𝗬𝗏𝗺 first pick is something a lot of people are debating right now. I know a lot of the EU casters like 𝗬𝗏𝗺 more than 𝗬𝗏𝗺. I know 𝗬𝗏𝗺 is very high in priority in LCK, so some regions seem to still have different reads here. 𝗬𝗏𝗺, 𝗬𝗏𝗺's trade will be seen a lot of times. Sometimes 𝗬𝗏𝗺's will be picked first, sometimes 𝗬𝗏𝗺. And we can already see Team Secret is trying to go for late game team fights. And Cerberus is probably following suit. So we might have a little bit of a longer one here. I'm always a little bit confused by Ornn into Trundle. That might not be the greatest pick you have ever locked in. So
that's what I was about to say, is they've opted into the Ornn when there's a Trundle on the other team. That does... it's confusing. And also, I mean, I think Jarvan just isn't that great at the moment. I think there are better teamfight junglers. What do you think about not picking up Yuumi?
It's interesting. It's once again a little bit of the different meta read in different regions, right? So Yuumi not quite as highly valued in some of the eastern regions, and it seems like Team Secret does not want their new star support on Yuumi, which is understandable, to be honest. So let's see if they still go Yuumi in the second round. We already see one support ban. Not banning Yuumi is kind of hinting here, even if you expect Yuumi to have less priority, but yeah, I guess we are just ignoring Yuumi from start to finish, which, yeah, VCS meta.
I mean, there is a sort of a logic where it's like, well, they didn't pick Yuumi up in their first 3 picks, despite getting the Ezreal. They're probably not just, they just don't want to play it, and they ban out the Mordekaiser. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that one. Not exactly a power pick.
Well, yeah, Mordekaiser is a good blind pick, though. It's not actually blind. We, of course, know Ornn is there. But, yeah, I feel like Ornn is a very nice... not Ornn, Mordekaiser...
Ooh, okay, drop that point, and let's talk about the Fiddlesticks.
Is that top or mid lane Fiddlesticks?
Probably mid. I think it's a Yado champ.
Could be, could be. We saw one, I didn't see, but I know there was one Fiddlesticks last night in the NALCS. I think 𝗬𝗏𝗺 played it, right?
𝗬𝗏𝗺 played it. He played tank Fiddlesticks. It was TSM inverting upon themselves, where it was 4 players in 1 ward instead of 1 𝗬𝗏𝗺 in 4 wards.
Nice. Well, let's see if this is mid lane or top lane Fiddlesticks. I know the top lane Fiddlesticks has been a big thing in Korean solo queue, especially on this patch, or the patch before, where he wasn't nerfed against minions still. So, interested to see who's going to pilot this one. Into 𝗬𝗏𝗺 sounds a little bit rough, to be honest. Fiddlesticks not the greatest range. Can probably sustain through laning phase decently well, but 𝗬𝗏𝗺, I feel like has priority here. Of course, I'm not an expert on Fiddlesticks, but this looks more like top lane Fiddlesticks.
That does look like top lane Fiddlesticks as the Twisted Fate comes in for Yado. It's going to be our second card master. So,
what a
very interesting comp here for Cerberus. What do they want to do here? How are they approaching the game? I can see your face where you've looked very upset with me asking that, but do you want to try and figure it out together?
Well, let's try to figure it out together. So, Fiddlesticks brings Engage, brings a stable laning phase, I'd hope, in top lane. I feel like he never drops below for 70% HP with his W active. So you can probably just play weak side Fiddlesticks top lane into Ornn and ignore top lane altogether. We have a very strong Trundle in this game that is able to steal stats from Ornn, so you have a good front line. You have one very good backliner, then you have a Fiddlesticks and a Twisted Fate is a solo lane. So I feel like there's a lot of dive in this composition. Should be quite easy to start fights, especially around objectives, around objective pits. Dragon Pit, Baron Pit come to mind. Secondary turrets where you can dive from the side as Fiddlesticks. It's a very explosive start to team fights. I'm not sure if they have the damage to sustain through team fights.
They have a lot of damage. Like, they have, it should be very easy for Cerberus to sort of corral Team Secret and force them to fight where Cerberus wants to fight. And if your choices are Well, I've got to run away from 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗃, but that puts me into range of a 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗃, who I need to run away from. But then the Twisted Fate's altered. Oh no, where do I go? I think that's kind of the point.
On the other hand, if the other team engages, if Cerberus looks for the engage, then you can just Emperor's Divide the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 out of the team fight, and suddenly he's utterly useless. So
that's a good point.
Ezreal also can just jump away. Leona is tanky enough to survive. Orange should be the same. So not too sure about the impact of 𝗬𝗏𝗃. It is, of course, the Korean iteration, which is Aftershock top lane 𝗬𝗏𝗃.
It's tanky,
so he's going to be very tanky. The Twisted Fate actually makes the least amount of sense, in my opinion, here in this composition. If you want to go for heavy teamfight dive
more
comps,
DPS.
Yeah, just go 𝗀𝗀𝗃 here, honestly. Imagine this comp with the 𝗀𝗀𝗃, a secondary ADC with a lot of DPS.
Are you saying you would have liked to see 𝗀𝗀𝗃 Azir in the VCS?
I mean,
I think we might be done.
I'm not advocating for the matchup, right? I don't want to see it. Just saying 𝗀𝗀𝗃 would have been the better pick for the comp here, ignoring the matchup in the mid lane.
No, I do agree. I think 𝗀𝗀𝗃 would have been super, super strong, but maybe they've got something to show off. Do you expect this to be
Orianna.
AP? Yeah, Orianna would have been great. And, 𝗬𝗏 plays that. Do you think this will be the AP or the AD TF? We've seen both.
Yeah, we have seen both, but some people might wonder where we've seen the ADTF, because it definitely didn't go into a Fnatic's game. Well, yeah, I think it's ADTF.
ADTF does actually have quite a lot of DPS, which is something we were saying they struggle with.
He does when he gets to auto attack, which
if he's allowed to play as a backline.
Yeah.
Which is
double
tricky,
cleanse
up here,
on very slippery carries though, so it's very hard to catch anyone on the other team.
This top lane is obnoxious. Look at this. That is obnoxious.
It looks very fun. I have to try this.
I've played against it once, and it's so annoying because the sound for the drain is so loud. Just constantly. Just like, please stop. Dude, please.
I have surprise party 𝗬𝗏𝗃 too, so it's even better.
Oh wow, yeah, the kazoo. Oh my.
Looking back at the comps, I feel like TS has outdrafted Cerberus. Well, maybe Cerberus have outdrafted themselves. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with Leona and Ornn in this composition. I always feel picking Ornn into Trundle is kind of int, because you make Trundle way stronger than he has to be. The Leona into Thresh is also something that is not the greatest.
Oh, speaking of which, CBL in a lot of trouble, and he is dead, as that 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗺𝗁 found him from ultra long range. Not 𝗧𝗲𝗺, sorry. 𝗂𝗫𝗄𝗃, that one. 𝗂𝗫𝗄𝗃. No, 𝗂𝗫𝗄𝗃. It was the sniper.
Right, the sniper.
Found him. Felio's gun names. That is not good. That's very bad. They just died in the 2v2. CBL is meant to be your star support coming in, and he's just died in a 2v2 for no reason.
Yeah, this is not the easiest lane to play, to be fair to them. And they are new top bot lane, so they need to build some synergy. Of course, still something that shouldn't happen, as Al just heals up to full HP again. Very annoying to deal with for 𝗧𝗃𝗃. But I hope we get a replay there, because it probably started with the CBL getting grabbed there, because no flash was used from the run OP. Yeah, there we go.
Here we
Let's
go.
look what happens.
Let's have a look at this replay.
Oh, Flay grab. Ooh. Yep, very standard.
Just stepped way too far up, honestly. That's a little bit of disrespect.
There were
two
very questionable skill shots flying around there. The first one, the major one, was the last Q from the sniper rifle you talked about on a cast as well, where it kind of flew over the head of Ezreal for no apparent reason. I'm not sure why Ezreal wasn't able to block. So maybe cut him some slack, but of course the trade in itself was not the greatest. I feel like he shouldn't have died there. With a normal champion, but he's playing against Ophelia, so you never know.
It does feel very strange you said it before that the Leona pick doesn't make a huge amount of sense. And it really, really doesn't, because so we talked about the Yuumi about, well, why wouldn't they pick Yuumi? Well, maybe they wanted some like lane priority, but Ezreal Leona doesn't get lane priority against the Thresh. So why do you have Leona? What is the point?
Also, Leona was picked very late in this composition, so they already saw the Fiddlesticks, and I would think against Fiddlesticks you want as much disengage as you can get. Janna comes to mind. Yuumi, of course, helps as well. She can build the Mikaels as well, first item even, Yuumi. And then you have a mobile QSS, and Fiddlesticks can't ever fear you. So I feel like Yuumi would have been a much, much better choice. Leona offers engage, but do you ever want to engage on the enemy team here? To be fair, they have some squishy members, so if you actually get the drop on LL or Yado and force them to disengage, which they are not great at, you might actually get a kill there. But yeah, I feel like Leona wasn't the greatest choice, and Leona in lane is not very good against Thresh.
Honestly, both of the comps are very weird.
Yeah,
in that they've just got pieces that stick out and sort of like, did you not really think before you picked these? Did you just go to a tier list? Regardless, these are the champions we have.
Yeah. I like that word. It's a very tier list focused draft, because all the champs make sense and are strong in the meta, but do they make sense as a composition?
As a team, exactly.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I still feel like CS
overall has way better win conditions. They just need to disengage Fiddlesticks and Yado, and then they've better re-engaged, better consistent damage in the back line. So I favor their composition in a 5v5. Cerberus needs to make stuff happen. They need to play very aggressively and look for plays around objectives. Look for ambushes for LL and Yado split pushing in the side lane.
Absolutely, but it's been very quiet so far. And as I say it, an Emperor's Divide, Shurima Shuffle is used. Yado's in a lot of trouble. He flashes, but the Cataclysm follows. And Artifact gets a kill in the mid lane. DNK's first entry onto the map is a successful one.
And that's disaster striking there. Look at the summoner spells. Not a single summoner used from the side of Artifact. He can now dominate lane even harder. The flash used for Yado traded for DNK's flash, but honestly, without the flash on Yado's side, he should be a very easy target for the next Emperor's Divide, and he needs to play very, very respectfully, of course. So I'm not sure if he ever gets an opportunity to use his ultimate to roam to other lanes, because if he does, while he's pushed in, he'll probably lose 2-3 turret plates here. So this is a very bad start for Yado on the Twisted Fate. No early ultimate to accelerate the game. Instead, he's actually decelerating the game for his team.
Yeah. So one bright spot, we didn't see quite why, because it happened at the same time as the mid lane play. Celebrity did have to cleanse down on the bot side. Probably just a hook hit or something. Maybe a Graviton. Hard to know. But that's a summoner spell down. Perhaps 𝗬𝗲 will show on the map as... So it's the Aphelios team that's called the swap here. And
interesting.
Nothing? No answer. They actually look like they want to contest. I don't think that's a good decision.
No,
Twisted Fate ult. Horn used. We do have a proper
no one hit.
As the Herald has gone down already, and here comes Fiddlesticks. True Shot Barrage across the middle, but it's DNK that's first to die. Team Secret is absolutely melting away. This is an absolute disaster. They're using all the summoners. LL goes low, but he'll be able to walk away. 𝗬𝗲 flashes forward, tries to get onto CBL. A hook lands onto Artifact, but he goes over. He got one. And oh my God! Emperor's Divide has ripped them up. Is it enough? Not quite. And it's just Artifact left here. He's got to get it all done. He gets another one. It's a triple kill for the Azir. But overall, it's a 4 for 3, I think. Dear God, that was a messy one. 𝗧𝗲𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗏, he's here, but he's not going to get in range.
We were on the brink of seeing the game end there. We actually were very close to the game just straight up ending. I talked so much about how Cerberus wants to fight around objectives, about pits, around pits, and look where the fight took place. So that was almost the perfect opportunity there for Cerberus, and they made it work for most of the fight. But then heroic effort for Artifact to get a triple kill back at the end. Let's look at some of the mechanics. Look at LL's positioning here, and 𝗧𝗲𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗏 also being utterly useless on. Yeah, he's in full vision, so no not silence, fear, of course, but the base damage is still something like 600, 700 in the full duration. So even though he's full tank fiddlesticks, he's very annoying to deal with, and zone's a great deal. Now,
Absolutely.
yeah, well,
and then 𝗧𝗲𝗺
that wasn't
puts
the
the
best
team
decision.
on his back.
Very nicely done from 𝗧𝗺. Actually, almost backfires here against him because he doesn't have the damage early on to kill everyone, but he's still very healthy. And for some reason, Artemis decides to once again get into his range to give him another kill. So that's fortunate for Team Secret. They were very close to losing the game there. Now they live to fight another day, and that day will definitely come soon as 𝗬𝗲 has picked up the 𝗓𝗏𝗺 they came for. So it's overall still a one play for 𝗬𝗲.
Yeah, and it's a 1,000 gold difference at the moment. Rift Herald still yet to be used. I don't think Team Secret had to contest there.
Oh.
I don't know why they took that fight. That was something they did last split a lot. It became a running joke, even with Team Secret on their social media, to say, why are they fighting here? And then they'd win them anyway. This time, they didn't quite win. And if it hadn't been for 𝗧𝗧𝗺 really, really showing up, they would have instantly lost. So maybe time to kill the meme, Team Secret.
Yeah.
As they lose a lot of tower plates, and they're going to fight this dragon as well.
Yeah, it's another one.
Okay, here comes the
go.
Ornhorn. The dragon goes over to 𝗬𝗲. They should be able to get 𝗬𝗲. He's very low. DNK puts up the cataclysm, but look at the backside. CBL is doing a lot. Yado going low. Celebrity has to get it all done.
Oh.
He's very, very healthy. Can they get on? They can. The Zenith Blade has landed. There's the follow-up. But it's 𝗏𝗏𝗺 with the Aftershock. A hook now lands. CBL's got to find a way out. Yeah, 𝗏𝗏𝗺 heat-seeking hooks. In the end,
this time
it was just a 1-for-0.
No,
1-for-1. 𝗬𝗲. Oh, yeah, Artemis died. Yep, 2-for-1.
Yeah.
But they lost the dragon.
Kills are equalized again. So it has to be a 2-for-1. They lose another dragon, but get the fight this time around. I guess we're challenging every single objective. So we are in for a lot of kills here. But let's look at this team fight again. This time around, 𝗧𝗃 hits a very good ult. Last time, he hit not a single member. Now it's CBL and 𝗧𝗃 alone in the backline. They're actually able to 2v2 Yado and Artemis. So the two main carries against the two tanks on the side of Secret. And we're 12 minutes in, so that means tanks are still winning. This fight in 30 minutes will be very quick and will be over with two tanks lying very dead on their side. So a little bit unfortunate for Team Secret. Or for 𝗬𝗲 rather. They definitely made the call that they can win the 2v2 in the backline. That is conceptually a correct call, but not on these items. On is just too tanky. Leona with Aftershock. It's actually two supports at this stage, so just a close loss. It didn't really cost them much, as you can see. They got the dragon, and they're still in a very firm gold lead. 2k.
Yeah, their gold lead
already.
Yeah, their gold lead's actually grown since the last time we checked in, due to the tower plates and just a bit of CS and all that being picked up. So 𝗬𝗲 is looking pretty good at the moment. I think they're quite happy. Yado not too happy about having to actually fight the blue buff. Why didn't the jungler prep it for him? I know he'll be a very angry mid laner. Mid laner's just entitled, obviously. But we saw how weird the team fights are going to be in this game. Because this is already weird.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very strange game. We are now in a situation where we have to factor in 𝗬𝗲's early gold lead and 2 dragon advantage. Their biggest goal this game is now Ocean Soul, which will be available in around 8 minutes. So if they can get the next dragon, win once again. On is still not an item, so they are looking at a very strong point for the next dragon fight. And as long as they can contain Artifact and keep him in check into fights, they are favored to win the next few minutes. And then Ocean Soul could give them the win condition they need to actually outscale Team Secret in late game team fights. So it's actually looking quite good for 𝗬𝗲 here in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, when it comes to raw damage potential, Artemis is going to be doing a lot more than Celebrity. So it really is just down to Artifact on the 𝗧𝗲. He got the triple kill. He's 5-0. He's a big bird. He is absolutely living on Sesame Street at the moment. But is it going to be enough as first tower in the bot lane? does get picked up by Yado. Has he ult if anything was to happen?
Very strange situation. Oh, never mind. There's no time for strange situations. We have a fight brewing.
Yeah, and Team Secret are kiting back. The Twisted Fate ult was used, but they can see him on the map. He's not close. It was really just vision.
Yeah.
So in the end, I think they're just going to say, we're going to get an inner tower and you can have the Rift Herald.
Very smart Twisted Fate ult, actually just to check if anyone came to contest them in the bot lane. And he will now deal more damage to this turret than the Rift Herald ever will be able to do. So actually a win for Cerberus once again. Smart macro play. We've seen a little bit more of that this season so far. And I'm very happy to see such moves. This is only 𝗬𝗏, and you shouldn't hard commit 5 members to 𝗬𝗏. She can't get you turret plating gold. You might be able to break one turret, but all the turrets are still pretty healthy on the side of Cerberus. So I feel like Team Secret make a little bit of a misjudgment. They are too much committed to one 𝗬𝗏. And now they are paying the price, not in gold right now, because the tower didn't fall, but will pay the price soon in terms of side lane disadvantages.
Yeah, absolutely. Cerberus at the moment just seems to have full control of the map. They're running Team Secret around. Team Secret, it's got to be said, looking a little bit lost. CBL has not had much of an impact in this game. Didn't get those roams that we were hoping he could on Leona. How do they get back into this one? I guess they just have to fight around this Ocean Drake, which looks like they want to do. Could drop the Herald to make sure they have positioning.
Yeah, they actually, this is a very nice advancement here for Team Secret. They have earned themselves a very good position for Dragon. They should make a beeline for Dragon and immediately start it here, because it's risky into the Cerberus' team composition, but I think they had enough time.
Yeah.
So
it looks
now,
like they're opting into a 5v5 instead.
By the way, Ocean map is actually super annoying to deal with for Team Secret. It's potentially the best map change for Fiddlesticks. And there we go, Fiddlesticks.
Speaking of which, there is the Crowstorm. It got the fear onto Celebrity. He ease and pops a cleanse to get away. LL takes a lot of damage. Oh, a good little solar flare there into the True Shot Barrage. There's a lot of damage being dealt. 𝗬𝗏 has picked up CBL. Artifact gets one back, but DNK's dead, as is 𝗧𝗏. And Team Secret have fallen. And Cerberus are looking just on another level.
Oh, look at Artemis's AoE crits here. But of course, this means we actually will get to solve point here for Cerberus. They won the fight for the third dragon. Never mind. The fight is not over.
Here comes Twisted Fate. He flashes forward, gets the stun onto Artifact. Can the 𝗬𝗏 find a way out? I don't think there's a path out. He tries to kill Artemis. Can't quite do it, but 𝗀𝗏 apparently just detonated. The Celebrity got one back, but it's a kill onto Artifact. That was a shutdown. Oh,
yeah, it's a 4K gold lead and 3 dragons. It's getting better and better for Cerberus. Artemis is scaling up. The 𝗬𝗏 is super fat, but he can't really impact fights. As we can see once we enter the replay, I'll talk to you about the fight a little bit more. But let's look at what is actually happening on the map. 18 minutes in, Baron will spawn soon. Nope, no time for that. The replay here. So keep your eyes on the back line for Team Secret and where they are positioned here. Celebrity and Artifact so far haven't really done much. Artifact is trying to go for a better position there, but now they opt to go away from their tanks. And 𝗧𝗏 and on the other side, DNK are caught too far away from their backline. The backline is just running circles around the vicinity there, but can't really hit anyone because their tanks are too split up and the front line is divided, so can't really tank for anyone.
And it's got to be said that they opted into the self-counter pick of picking Ornn when there's a Trundle on the other team, and he's 1-3 and has done one good ult.
Yeah. Was
it worth it? Because Trundle was not taking damage in that last fight, and at the moment, yeah, the comp from Cerberus is weird. Obviously, it still is weird. And maybe on paper, Team Secret still got the better comp, but the execution is incomparable at the moment.
I feel like we can summarize. Oh, what the? Okay.
Okay, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏
right? Why not?
Yeah,
that's okay.
fine. That's totally fine. And they're going for the engage here. There is the Crowstorm. CBL should go down. 𝗧𝗃 will go it down as well. And DNK. I can't even keep up. And that's game.
Yeah, I feel like this
I think
is the
we're done
final
here.
nail in the coffin. They overextended way too far forward into Artemis. They had no threat on Artemis whatsoever. He had Flash and Cleanse available. Just stood there, was like, "Are you sure you want to fight me here? Okay, I'm going to auto attack you once. You took 400 damage. I guess you want another one. Another 400 damage across your team. Oh, you want my ult too? Okay, you're all dead now. Yeah, unlucky. Well, you should know better by now
20-minute Baron.
what this champion does, right? We can flame all we want, how broken this champ is, but it's also on the teams making him look stronger than he actually is. You should not walk into him with 4 people with no threat and just take all the AoE damage before the fight happens, and then still go for the fight after you're all chunked half HP. So, very bad decision making there.
Yeah,
Look at this.
absolutely.
Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, you know what Aphelios does at this point. You were saying before, he's got all those chakrams. You've taken all this damage. And then what were they doing? They were trying to start a fight when CBL's on 30 health?
Why would you ever dive
shocking
with this composition? Why? The enemy team has the dive composition. You are built to outscale in teamfights front to back and to run away from the fiddlesticks and kite him and out DPS the enemy team. Why do you opt to dive? This is just, frankly, very bad read of your own draft. I'm not sure if the coach is responsible for this or if the team can't communicate well, but they drafted a team that is decent. I still think there are some flaws in this draft as well. But they are not executing to their win condition whatsoever. They are just completely disregarding their win condition.
They honestly look very, very lost. Part of it is obviously there are some new players on the team. 𝗧𝗂 and CBL won't have perfect synergy yet. Scrims are great. They've had plenty of off-season to scrim, but it's not the same as stage games. You still got to work the kinks out. That's fine. But they just aren't playing well. Like, in the end, they're just not doing it. They're not doing the job.
Yeah, and it's not on a mechanical
hopefully
level.
They bounce back.
They have been fine individually. It's just a team cohesion and a decision-making process that is...
Yeah, it's particularly the decision-making.
Yeah, it's honestly shocking how bad it is. Because
I think there's two possibilities. There's two possibilities. Either their comms are dead silent and they're just autopiloting stupid things, or it is a cacophony and you can't hear anything and everyone's trying to make different calls. You can see, this is one of the most visible examples of terrible communication I've seen in League of Legends.
I agree. I think they're more on autopilot mode from looking at their play. They are just contesting all the objectives like you would maybe do on an uncoordinated solo queue team where you're like, oh god, they have 3 dragons, we need to contest everything. So, and they are not thinking about how to contest. They are not thinking about
dragons.
Yeah. This is the last stand. They need to get this one. They can't win teamfights though, so it's a lose-lose situation, and we're going to see a loss very soon.
Potentially. We do at least have a 2-item Ezreal. That is a lot of damage. But Cerberus is just waiting. The longer they wait, 𝗧𝗏 can just keep pushing. As long as... And the dragon has gone down and was taken away by 𝗬𝗏. Ocean Soul secured. You are never, ever killing LL now. Artifact and Celebrity doing absolutely everything they can. CBL in the back. Artifact will get 1. But at what cost? You get 1 kill. You lose multiple towers. You lose an Ocean Soul. You've lost game 1.
Look at the minimap. 𝗧𝗏 wasn't even there. He didn't bother. He just went mid-lane.
I wanted to point it out, but the fight kicked off. What Cerberus did there is they put 𝗧𝗏 in the lane. As you said, he hit Twisted Fate R to see if anyone was rotating to stop him. Saw they weren't. And all Cerberus had to do was, we're not going to hit the dragon. We're just going to stand here. And if you try and kill it, we'll steal it, which they did. We're just going to stand here, and 𝗧𝗏 is just going to push. Either you stand here and do this stupid little dragon dance with us, and we take your base. I know the replay is happening, but there's not a huge amount to point out. I think this is a good point. This is good from Cerberus. They said, if you want to do this dragon dance, 𝗧𝗏 takes your base. So you've either got to engage onto us, and we'll beat you in that fight, even 4v5, or watch your base die. And
I feel like
Secret did both.
This is a set play that has been a little bit underutilized. We have seen it sometimes with Baron, where the team that is sitting on Soul Point can actually pressure other objectives too. And a lot of people are of the opinion that you have to prioritize the soul over anything else. But I actually like when teams use the pressure in other lanes to achieve other things. Because in the end,
Team Secret is going for it. There's a lantern there, but Will Artemis, there are 3 control wards on top of it. They dropped everything to make sure
they
got
so
that
ready.
But hi, 𝗬𝗨. He's just down in the bot lane saying, damn, this new MMO kind of looks like League of Legends, but I haven't seen an opponent player for ages.
And he still has his ult available, by the way.
Yep, and he's out.
He's running circles around them. Holy moly, 𝗬𝗨 is solo winning this game here.
He is absolute. I mean, he's not solo winning, really, because he could be, but the rest of Cerberus is playing really, really well as well.
Okay, solo
is it finally the split?
Sorry. Solo ending the game. He's not solo winning the game. The game was won by Secret taking very dumb fights over and over again, but he's solo ending the game. That's for sure. Both inhibitors taken by 𝗬𝗨. Now, look at his items. He will melt towers in a matter of 2 seconds, maybe? So,
wouldn't surprise me to see him grab a blue pot as well.
Yeah.
Just grab that elixir of sorcery, just absolutely destroy towers.
And we will get
Team Secret, you got to bounce back in game 2 because this has been shocking.
Absolutely. I'm very impressed with Cerberus, though. Their macro has been immaculate. Their composition is still a little bit weird to me. I want to see it against the better team that actually plays to its strength. And this is another Hail Mary call. Yeah. They have to get this. If they lose this as well, the game is just instantly over.
Yep, it's going down, and there it is, secured by DNK. Of course, he won't miss the smite. 𝗬𝗲 will be taking a lot of damage, but Cerberus just need to buy time, because look at the base. 𝗬𝗨 is just taking the base. Zika will go down. They're all managing to recall, but they lost both of their Nexus towers. They said, okay, well, you lost an inhib, 2 Nexus towers. 𝗬𝗨 gives them a dance. And then Ollie outies, waits for his minion wave, and cool Baron, guys. You gonna push with that one? I don't think so.
It's the eternal battle of Baron minions against super minions. Who's going to win? But
Ezreal this time.
Yeah, probably. But I feel like this was the first well-executed objective call for Team Secret. They are in a very bad situation, a lose-lose situation, where they have to give up stuff to gain anything on the map. So
I mean, the problem here is you've lost 2 Nexus towers against a Twisted Fate.
Absolutely, it's not.
What are you going to do? Just give up Elder?
But what's the alternative? Like, if you stay in base and clear minions, you lose the Baron, then subsequently the top lane inhib as well, because you can't contest because you have no items. So taking the Baron, even by the expense of 2 Nexus turrets, is, in my opinion, the best they could have hoped for. Because right now, it's not quite as easy to push in, even with 2 super minions, super minion waves, I should say. So,
but the thing is that they don't need to push in. They just wait for Elder Dragon to spawn, and 𝗬𝗨 just goes. He's got spellbook. He can just.
It's true. But Elder Dragon is always a little bit dicey, always a little bit scary for the team that is winning. Because if you lose it, suddenly you can actually lose team fights. So
sure, but in my mind, Cerberus just does what they did with the Ocean Soul point with the Elder Dragon and just say, like,
I'm not saying
either we get Elder.
Yeah, I'm not saying Team Secret is favored to win.
Oh god, no, I know what you're saying.
I still feel this was the best they could have hoped for, because at least the game is extending to 30 minutes now. And if the King of Thieves can once again come in and steal away the Elder Dragon, maybe there's a chance.
There's a chance.
A very small one. It's better than 0%, which they were looking at before the Baron started, most likely.
But look at this setup. Look at Cerberus. They have full control over the Dragon Quadrant of this map. They're taking away a red buff. It's almost just adding insult to injury. It is started, and Team Secret's not even contesting. DNK's close-ish. He has no vision. He drops a flag. 6k health. I don't even think he can get close enough. He has flash.
Yeah.
He has to go for it.
Yeah, he absolutely has to. But LL gets
feared. He gets ult. He gets Twisted Fate ult. Ooh, 𝗬𝗨 could be a little bit too far forward. But nope, he's okay.
It's too early.
Dragon resets. There is the fight coming in. The Infernum burns them down. DNK is dead. The Prince of Thieves will not be stealing a lamp from Alibaba's cave tonight. Elder Dragon secured. Cerberus charging forward. And Team Secret have been absolutely blown off the map. Artifact, he had a good game. He tried very, very hard. That's another slick little play. He actually manages to escape. But 𝗧𝗏𝗺's already in the base, and he says, once more, onto the breach, and takes another structure. That was dismantling.
Very interesting and exciting game for Cerberus fans. They played a style that is not seen often in the VCS, I have to say. This was very split push focused, very much trying to run around the enemy team. Very SKT played this style with TF a lot, with the Faker pushing in side lanes against RNG last Worlds, again in MSC this a month ago or something. So something maybe they've seen in other regions and want to implement into the VCS as well. I am very impressed. But I'm also very unhappy with Team Secret's performance. I felt like they did not show up. They all looked out of sorts and very uncoordinated. Yeah,
we'll have to see if Team Secret can bounce back in Game 2. But we do need to pick an MVP for this game. Who is your best on the Rift?
Oh, that's a good question.
I lean toward like 𝗧𝗏𝗺 was very good. Yeah, I think it has to be 𝗧𝗏𝗺.
It's a team effort once again. It's not easy to discern who's going to get the points in the end. I feel like 𝗧𝗏𝗺 in the end pushed all the inhibitors and reacted well with his ultimate. So 𝗧𝗏𝗺, and then maybe secondary the jungler because he got all the big smites, I guess. Yeah, I know
that's something we'll talk about. Yeah. But so 𝗧𝗏𝗺 for MVP, and with that, we'll be back in just a little bit to bring you Game 2 of Cerberus taking on Team Secret. We want a closer one. Come on, Team Secret, bounce back and show us why you've deployed these two new players. We'll see you in just a little bit, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Tuning in.
Welcome back, everybody, for Game 2 of Cerberus taking on Team Secret. It was a one-sided affair in Game 1 as Cerberus absolutely ran circles around Team Secret. We have to hope this one is a bit more of an interesting affair. What needs to change here for Team Secret?
A lot needs to change. They need to acknowledge what their composition is actually supposed to do, and not do something completely random that doesn't fit their composition and actually enables their enemies. A really very nice step in the right direction. It might not be as easy as that. I actually am very, very disappointed with their performance in Game 1, and feel like it's unlikely that they will come back here, because there were a lot of very, very glaring mistakes there, and very obvious misreads of what they had to do. So I'm a little hesitant just on Team Secret now.
Yeah, I 100% am too. It wasn't just a comp issue. In fact, I think they had the better comp. Something I don't want to see again is don't pick the Ornn when Trundle is already shown by the other side. Yes. It makes him so useless. Zika was a non-factor last game. He didn't exist.
To be fair, he also played a very bad Ornn game. He actually did not hit all the engages. He had one good engage in the whole game and missed almost every single ult. But on top of being useless on the Ornn side, it also makes the Trundle unbelievably tanky.
Exactly.
Trundle can, if there's no tank, Trundle can actually suffer a lot in team fights. He can be a little bit of a 𝗧𝗏𝗺 style champion where he fails to get to the target and then just dies in between.
Like
but if you get all the stats,
how we classify Juggernauts, League of Legends.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Trundle.
Trundle is picked. Will Cerberus make the mistake and pick up an Ornn in control?
So far, we have just swapped teams, I guess, because this is the exact same draft from last game. Aphelios would be the pickup here if we follow the script for Game 1.
They hovered the Aphelios. Okay.
This makes a lot of sense.
Well, does it? Because 𝗧𝗃𝗕 didn't look good on him.
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's a good point. But it makes sense to pair Trundle with the 𝗊, so that 𝗊 can't be made useless by the Trundle. So he will be a tank. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more useful in this game, because last game wasn't greatest. But I like this adaptation from Cerberus already, picking a lot of disengage and a lot of survivability with DPS. So once again, very good read here.
That is honestly a reason I don't really like the super early Trundle pick. I still think, yes, Trundle's very strong, but I still think he's best suited as the second jungler to be picked. Pick him when you know what you're jungling against, or you get Kindred. 𝗬𝗏 just picks up the Kindred hard counters. Trundle, gonna have a super easy time.
I feel like this is a little bit of a mute point though, because every single champ in the game is picked best when picked second.
Okay.
It's always
Trundle is a bad blind pick.
I don't think so. Okay. Trundle can suffer in matchups. Some people can hard out jungle Trundle, but I feel like Trundle brings a lot to the table and brings enough to always be useful. He's the typical tank jungler that was always present in matters before it passed as well. Think back to 𝗬𝗏𝗺 matters, where then suddenly 𝗬𝗏𝗺 came in as a counter pick, and 𝗬𝗏𝗺 was still a good blind pick, even though there was 1 in 10 games.
I think 𝗬𝗏𝗺 in those situations did a lot more than Trundle.
Maybe, but Trundle can definitely still do a lot in team fights. His E is very strong. His ultimate still gives him tankiness, even if he just ults the support or someone. So, yeah, I am not quite as down on Trundle. I agree with you. He's definitely better when picked last, when you see the tank coming in. But I feel like you have to pick something early, right? You can't pick 𝗊 blind, because then the Trundle comes. You can't really pick. You can pick blind mid lane, but.
So let's move on from that point. If we don't quite agree, that's okay. Different opinions exist, and we have a remake.
That happens too. Fair enough.
That happens too. A lot in the VCS, in fact. Mid-season cup, looking at you. Don't think we had a single champ select to go on without someone clicking the wrong thing, which is fantastic. You love it. But what we did see there was Fiddlesticks and Twisted Fate being removed. Team Secret did not want the repeat performance of going up against those two. Can't say I blame them. They got absolutely ripped apart. Didn't seem to know how to counter those two picks. But they picked 𝗂𝗧 instead of Aphelios.
So 𝗂𝗧 into 𝗬𝗏 is something that has sprung up in the LPL recently. And a lot of people really like this matchup because 𝗂𝗧 can dive late 𝗬𝗏 in the late game, has more single target damage, and can actually get to him and kill him in some situations. Sometimes 𝗬𝗏 just gets too tanky and 𝗂𝗧 is too far behind. I feel like Aphelios would have been the better pick. I am a really big fan of Aphelios for pro games because he's super strong. And we just saw in the last game how Artemis 1v4'd the enemy team and won. So yeah, I agree with you. It's a little bit of a strange one. I can see where he's coming from. It's better to kill the 𝗬𝗏, but you also have to take into consideration that the team is not only 𝗬𝗏. So
yeah, and in fact, 𝗬𝗏 is often not the focal point.
Yeah,
he's very strong. That being
said, though,
he isn't a focal point.
The 𝗂𝗧 came in as third R3, right? So red side third pick. And they already saw the heavy disengage focused composition on the side of Cerberus, Karma, Kindred, and 𝗬𝗏. And Aphelios against those three champs might actually struggle a lot. So I actually like the adaptation. Aphelios might still be the safer pick here. More situations in the game where he does more than 𝗂𝗧, but I feel like it's finally an adaptation according to the enemy's draft, which severely lacked in the last game. So that actually makes a lot of sense.
Okay, fair enough. We'll have to see if it pays off. Hopefully we get back into draft soon. Don't want to have too much of a delay. I still can't believe how often players just click the wrong thing. It's very annoying. But of course, we don't know the full reason for what happened. Of course, we could be the LPL where junglers have to play without smite.
And then they lose a month's salary because of that.
Okay, so apparently the translation wasn't perfect, and it was more like he lost part of his pay. So he's basically fined, which is already kind of harsh. Because it's almost like the whole team screwed up. Like, because apparently the rule is that if you don't report something being wrong before the end of the loading screen, you can't change it. So what, did you all sit in the loading screen and not notice he didn't have smite? Like, all 5 of you?
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation, but yeah. Well, I don't agree with the punishment. I feel like, yeah, you have so many best of threes, and you still almost came back in that game, so it's very harsh. Let's hope it's not going to happen in the VCS.
No, I mean, we're talking about the VCS where a team lost bans for 3 weeks for losing a key card.
And the coach, the on-stage coach, was banned from on-stage coaching for losing his key card too, right? So
yeah,
we have some harsh punishments over here.
Ridiculous. Like, what is it going to be? You've picked the wrong champion 3 times. We're going to whip you on stage. It was brutal. Hopefully it's not too long. Oh no, we're seeing the casters. That's a bad sign. It might actually be a tech issue. Oh no. we have to play it by ear, unfortunately. We obviously have no way of knowing what the issue is. So everyone just cross your fingers and hope to get back in soon. But from what you've seen of the comps, we've talked about Team Secrets a fair bit. So far, what do you think of the Cerberus comp?
I really like it. I think it's very smart. It's execution heavy though. You need to be very good to execute these champs. 𝗬𝗲, Kindred, both of these champs need to get going. 𝗬𝗲 maybe less so. He has a very cheap build, but Kindred, when put behind, she can struggle to have any kind of game impact. So yeah, you need to play around the Kindred. I would like to see a very strong top lane. You already see the on, so maybe pick something like, you're not going to believe I'm going to say this, Renekton, to have top pressure and enable Kindred to play around top side. Maybe your first 𝗬𝗲 spawns top, and then Renekton can roam down and help her out, get the first ever stack. So I'd really like to see a very strong mid and top laning duo to just give Kindred freedom to invade, to get her marks. Because you don't really need to pick more disengage, in my opinion. You already have Karma, Kindred. There is so much safety. I would like to see a very stable mid laner and then an aggressive top laner that can win you the lane on his own.
Yeah, I think that would be good to see, particularly because 𝗧𝗲 did look weak in game 1. It's definitely something that can be exploited.
Yeah, I think 𝗧𝗲 is better than 𝗧𝗲 in most cases.
Yeah, I agree.
His mechanics might be already might be on the decline already. He's one of the oldest players in the league, though I don't believe your mechanics decline at 22. I firmly don't think that's a thing, but whatever. People seem to believe that's the case.
As someone that turned 23 2 days ago, God, I hope not. Because if my mechanics in games,
never wear any mechanics, right?
If my mechanics in games are declining, Jesus, I'm going underground.
Well, yeah, 𝗲𝗲, I really like 𝗲𝗲. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. I actually gave him number 1 or number 2, I think number 3 top laner last season. So behind the big 2, Yoshino and Kiaya, I think I gave it over to 𝗲𝗲. Because he had a very stable season. He had some carry performances, but he was a very, very good asset to his team. And overall, I feel like Cerberus has gone a little bit under the radar because they came in 5th and they missed players barely. But you have to remember, the win rate was 50%. So they were not a bad team. They were only barely missing out on players in spring. So,
and that was with some significant blunders.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the meta might also change in their favor right now, with Artemis being a very strong traditional ADC. He should be in his wheelhouse right now. We have 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏, it's maybe not be, it might not be 𝗏𝗏's favorite meta. He likes engage supports, but you can still kind of play those DNK likes to go for a lot of not DNK, of course. 𝗬𝗲 needs to find his own on all these farming junglers. But other than that, I feel like Cerberus can be another contender, and that's one of the reasons we always say this might just be the most competitive split we have ever seen, because every team has something going for them.
Yeah, for sure. And Cerberus, like, we can talk a little bit about game one because we have some time to fill. They looked like they had really, really solid game plan, which is often where the VCS lacks. The VCS is often a very reactive league. Teams just kind of go with the flow in the game. It didn't look like Cerberus did that. They picked their comp and said, right, we actually know what to do with this comp. We know where we're going to send the Twisted Fate when we're getting Dragon. All of that. It looked really good.
Yeah. The execution was almost flawless. They had still some oversteps here and there. They are a very aggressive team, and I always like to see teams that are middle of the pack and trying to break into the upper echelon be very, very aggressive, because aggression leads to volatility. And volatility, if you're not the greatest team, might actually be something good, because if you are 3k gold ahead of the best team of the league, you are way more likely to close out the game in your favor than if you are even after 20 minutes. Because the best team is the best team for a reason, right? So playing a volatile, very aggressive style, in my opinion, is the way to go, especially with all these new players finally getting a starting spot. 𝗬𝗲 comes to mind, Artemis comes to mind. I really like Cerberus. I'm always very interested to see what they can do. I ultimately believe their player strength is not quite there to bring them to the player positions, to the world's positions, but I would be happy to be surprised otherwise, or be proven otherwise.
Yeah, 100%. I would be incredibly happy to be wrong. We know they want to go to Worlds. We'll have to see if they can manage it. Apparently my camera's flickering and I can see that. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I think there's something going a little bit wrong with software somewhere. But we'll find out. Hopefully we fix that up. Hopefully, VETV fixes things up, because I'd like to get back into draft.
Would be nice, yeah. So, you probably haven't played much League in the last few days, right? You're on the Valorant train?
I'm playing so much Valorant. I love that game.
So, there's no champion you have recently picked up or anything we can talk about?
In League, I mean, I still play 𝗧𝗏𝗺 like most games. I
actually hit level 7 on 𝗧𝗏𝗺 a few weeks ago.
I have all 3 of his Eternals.
Oh, nice.
Like fully. I think my because one of his Eternals is how long you've had your passive running, and I think it's at 5 hours for me.
Oh, okay.
Or something. Because I play a lot of 𝗧𝗏𝗺. No, it's a bit like I don't think it's quite 5 hours, like 4 and a bit. I'm not sure.
Wait, you also like to play Yorick from time to time, right? And Yorick is one of my newest additions to my favorite champs. I really like Yorick, and I'm excited to see the buff to his maiden, where you can actually control her a little bit better. Because it's way too often in top lane where she just
doesn't kill herself to tower.
Oh my god, it's so annoying. You get to the turret, you're hyped to get some plates, you hit the turret once, and then the maiden gets focused, and you're like, no, please don't die. I'm not a champion for the next 120 seconds if you die. So you actually have to run away from the platings and give up your plating gold because your maiden is going to suicide if you don't.
I just think it's always really funny if you get ganked and you manage to get away, but then you have to just keep running down the lane so that the maiden and the jungler and the enemy top laner are desperately trying to kill the maiden.
Oh god.
It's like, no, get out of there, wife. But we have a draft. Let's go. Get us back in there. Oh, we were running out.
So we haven't talked about the last 2 bans for Cerberus. Very smart bans in my opinion. 2 engaged supports banned away. So now forced on not so traditional support. Of course, 𝗧𝗏 is now the option for CBL. CBL is one of our best 𝗧𝗏 players. He is incredible on this champion. So it's scary.
Yeah, for sure. This is a very strong team comp for Team Secret. Look at all the engage.
Yeah.
I don't want a team fight against that.
Yeah, you have to think very carefully about how to team fight. Oh, no.
Oh, I mean, it's the Ornn counter.
Fair enough.
It's for Ornn.
So it's solo lane Karma, which I like, together with the Kindred, and yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So we talked about the solo lanes having to have a lot of priority to give Kindred her time to shine and to give Kindred the freedom to roam on the top side. You're not going to win the Ezreal lane anyway, so you're basically giving up on bot lane with Ezreal Braum and playing complete topside focus with Kindred being your main carry.
Ooh!
Okay.
Okie dokie. Artifact has found the key for this game.
Scary.
As he picks up the Yasuo.
Yeah, he's one of our biggest Yasuo players in the league. DNK Artifact were very famous in summer for Gragas Yasuo, so I'm happy to see him on Yasuo. I'm not sure if it's the best choice here, honestly. In my opinion, Yasuo is not super great into Kindred. He might not be the greatest choice into Karma either, because Karma can probably survive his Orion, especially if she goes exhaust, which she isn't, but whatever.
I think it'll be tricky for her to survive when it's with a Trundle. Of course, the pillar knockback is a knockup.
Yeah, but Karma has so much extra HP with Mantra W, and then E as well, so I feel like it's hard to get the kill here for the mid lane jungle duo. Karma
it is not easy.
Yeah. I agree with you though. This composition is way more cohesive. It actually has a theme and knows what it's. Hopefully, they also know what it's going to do. It's very engage heavy. They have a lot of very strong melee champs, but that's also a little bit of a concern. Only one range champ, and that range champ has 525 range. So how are they ever getting to kill a turret without Shirley and Shelly? It's going to be very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Yeah, the siege is pretty horrible here, as is the wave clear. So if they're ever on the back foot, they get pushed back very, very quickly. This is definitely not the easiest comp to play. Definitely could come back to bite Team Secret. As we'll have to see, though. Let's start off talking about Cerberus, though, as they have a bit more of a standard draft, I think. How do they want to approach this one? How do they enable the Kindred and the Ezreal?
It's a very easy, straightforward composition to look at. You need priority in top and mid lane, and then Kindred can do whatever she wants. If you ever lose priority on the lanes, Kindred will be struggling. So it's almost everything has to be focused on Kindred. I think this is a game where you probably should watch a minimap more than actually looking at the screen. So yeah, I feel like Kindred decides this game pretty early on. If she gets 2-3 marks in a very good early game, then it's going to be very difficult for this, Team Secret to ever get to her, to ever get through her ultimate. And Cerberus should be in the winning position from there on out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then looking over at Team Secret, it is just the all-in 5v5. They want to go in on the Ornhorn and just do Yasuo things. 𝗂𝗃 diving into the back line. It is Hail of Blades 𝗂𝗃 with a set support. So that is that lane only goes one way.
Absolutely. I feel like
if they lose this lane, that's the season's done.
I feel like we are watching a tutorial from some esports guide or something, where for people who have never watched League, how does League of Legends function? We are looking at these two team compositions. We have a very straightforward team composition on either side. One is very heavy on engage and team fighting, and the other one is very about winning lanes and enabling your jungler. So there are not that many twists in either team composition, as opposed to first game where the team compositions were all over the place.
Nonsense.
It's a nice change. I like it.
Yeah, we went from a tier list draft in game one to actually just thinking purely about how champions work together. We'll have to see which approach is more effective. For Team Secret, we very much hope that it's the latter approach, because they might be able to take the full game through.
They would have to seriously.
We'll have to come back to it. Here is the first gank. DNK's come out of the jungle, and Yado has to flash very, very late there. Jesus, he cut that one to the quick. As he finally flashes away and does survive, but a good first gank.
Yep, nicely done.
For DNK.
Way too overextended for Yado.
Ooh.
𝗬𝗲 wasn't there to cover him correctly, as 𝗬𝗲 is also trying to chase down DNK, but of course he has no mid lane priority, so we talked a lot about mid lane priority.
This could potentially be a bit of a fight here, because this is a marked crab. It's 3v2, but 𝗧𝗲𝗺 deals a lot of damage at the start. LL might have bitten off more than he can chew. His artifact flashes forward. He gets first blood. 𝗧𝗲𝗃 very low. Should be going down. There's a smite. It goes over to DNK, so no mark for Kindred. And the death to go with it. Cerberus have perhaps overcommitted for the crab. And they lose out. 2v1 first blood to a Yasuo.
Let's check trinkets. No trinket was available. That is a little unfortunate. Imagine if LL had his trinket ward available. He could have actually placed it there. The karma would have been much closer with a reset, with teleport there. So could have potentially changed the fight outcome.
I mean, this is a huge mistake by Team Secret. They've made a big mistake. They've let Yasuo get a kill, so he can't get to his 0-10 power spike. So
look at LL here. He's nice flash, but instant double flash response from 𝗧𝗃 and Artifact. 𝗧𝗃 goes down, but he's not the main target, of course. 𝗬𝗲 misses a smite, so no. He gets the HP back. So actually hitting the smite there wouldn't have changed much, but at least he would have walked away with his mark. Instead, he loses everything. So
and now LL in trouble. The pillar's up. 𝗧𝗃's done a lot of prep damage, but they're just gonna.
Wait, what?
Okay. They just okay.
Okay, that was surprising.
I don't know why they didn't keep going. I'm very confused.
I mean, they could have at least forced him out of lane. That was super surprising to me. So looking at the Drake timer, maybe he wanted to not lose any time to reset for Dragon, for a very early solo on the Dragon. But yeah, that was very surprising to me. They got the slow, and he had no flash. He wasn't level 6.
It's 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧. Like, you can't get away. You have the Frozen Kingdom. Like, you'd think you could have chased him down, but domain, sorry. Frozen
𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧 has one spell to escape. It's E to the other side, but never mind that. There's another gank.
Yep, 𝗧𝗃 just taking some damage, and this gank will at least be forcing him out of lane. He'll have to go back. No teleport, so this is potential tower plates. He's actually just going to stick around. That makes sense.
This is a very helpful gank for the 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧, because this matchup early on is a little bit annoying for 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧, because in pure damage trades, he of course wins against Ornn, but Ornn builds all these items that 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧 can't build in lane. So after a few levels, Ornn usually wins out because he just has more items. So it's very nice to get the free reset here and get his first big power spike for level 6, so he can actually challenge 𝗧𝗃 to a fair fight. And then level 6 onwards, the matchup is very, very bad for Ornn, because 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧 just waits for Ornn to ult, and then he ults him.
Oh, and here we go. The first Yasuo ult has been used. And sorry, did you say that Yado would survive that? Had lots of extra health? Because that wasn't close.
Yep, that wasn't close at all. So maybe a little bit of miscalculation on my side. I thought the Mantra W would heal him a little bit more. But of course, there's Ignite involved, so no healing coming through. Yado also didn't have Barrier there with the spellbook. Instead, was still sitting on cooldown for teleport, so no defensive summoner either. Well, now, Artifact, the main carry of Team Secret, is 2-0 on Yasuo, and there is so much assistance for Yasuo in this team composition. Basically, every single champ, apart from a celebrity, has a knock-up, so it's going to be a very good game for Artifact if they are to win.
It's kind of weird, don't you think, when you consider like Yasuo's like character, that he's one of the most set-up reliant champions in the game. Like, he's a lone wanderer. But he needs a friend, or he's terrible.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I feel like some of the character champ design does not really align with their character too often.
What, you mean like Kindred, who people don't realize is actually both of the characters?
Yep. Or Aurelion Sol being the strongest being in the universe, but dying instantly to any melee champ in range.
Hey, I'll have you know that Zoe is actually more powerful than Aurelion Sol.
Is she? Okay.
Lore-wise. Yeah, she captured him.
Didn't know that.
Yep. Because yeah, Zoe's like stupidly powerful because of course she is. Haha, anime tropes.
I mean, she also is in game, so at least that checks out. So
yeah, that does check out. But let's talk about things people actually care about. More lore. No, the actual game, as the Rift Herald has been started up. This is bold by Cerberus because they are not ahead at the moment. 1.5k gold, Team Secret. They're just leashing, I guess.
And Cerberus is not the team to engage with this composition. They don't want
Cerberus are absolutely going to go forward. The Rift Herald does go over to them. A good smite. 𝗬𝗲𝗺 pops the ult to buy some time, but he is not getting out of this one. He goes down. There is a kill on the backside. 2 for 1 in the favor of Cerberus at the moment. Team Secret perhaps fluffing this engage completely. Double kill for 𝗬𝗏𝗺. And Team Secret have lost a fight they should absolutely never have lost. They didn't even get the Herald. Oh, no.
Yeah, once again, very bad read on what their composition wants to do. They threw everything, absolutely everything on 𝗬𝗲𝗺, and he just pressed ult and stalled the fight so much. It was basically the worth of 5 stopwatches there, if you look at the fight again in a few seconds. Because other than you can still target the player that has a Kindred ult on him, right? So
yeah, of course.
Look at everything that goes on 𝗬𝗲𝗺. He is absolutely caught. They don't have to actually worry about killing him because he is definitely going down after a while. But in the meantime, 2 targets are dead on the other side. So suddenly it's 5v4 with LL and a very strong Conqueror stacked 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 coming out directly near Team Secret's still standing members. So another big misplay from Secret.
Was the Yasuo ult not even used?
No, he was...
he was in the Death Realm, yeah.
Yep. He was put in the Death Realm, and actually very good timing from the Death Realm there, because I think it was cast exactly at the moment where the
under tower they go. Yado is the target, gets face broke back in. Artifact had to flash away, and this time he did have enough health. That was a lot of resources being used, and didn't even ignite. Team Secret look a little bit tilted. Must have been a pillar from Ornn? Maybe a tip of a tornado hit?
Well, did not seem to get hit by anything. Interesting. Well,
it must have been the tip of a tornado.
This time around, my prediction was correct, and he's actually tanky enough to survive, because, of course, this time around, the turret also helped him out there with a little bit of extra damage. So now, no flash for Artifact. So he's... If he ever wants to ult, it's very risky for him. He can't get out anymore. And there are some stronger members on the side of Cerberus. I think he loses to 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 right now. He might even lose to Ezreal.
Oh, and over the wall goes Cerberus, and they found themselves a wolf. Set has been caught and dropped. And Cerberus has said, well, we had a bit of an iffy early game, but we're still the better team.
That was so good. Holy. They didn't stack the CC. They actually waited and staggered, and he couldn't ever cast this W. That was so clean.
He couldn't move. He could not
so
move.
Decisive too. That was such an impressive move. I'm blown away. That was such a clean kill into Dragon. Just a very standard play, but still so well executed.
Oh, another Yasuo ult being used, but here come the boys. The exhaust. He's in the Death Realm. He's trying to dash around. Has he got the key? I don't think he has a key. And down goes Yasuo.
Yeah, no key for him. But I absolutely love this matchup. 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 against very mobile champ is always super fun to watch, because 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 just stands there, activates his passive, and you're like, yep, dash around me. I don't care. You're going to die to my passive damage. Sorry.
It's great as well, because you just, the sound effect of the mace is just conk, 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 conk,
yes,
conk,
yes.
conk. You just beat them to death, and it's like, oh, I can taste the sweat on your keyboard, Yasuo, as you're trying desperately to outplay me. I don't even have my hand on my keyboard at the moment. I've just A-clicked.
Also, interestingly enough, Yasuo is actually not the most mobile champion in the Death Realm, because, of course, you get a cooldown on your E for every target you use E on.
He's really good to Death Realm, in fact. Fantastic target.
Yeah, and he's the main carry of the team, so he is really the main target. I actually think the 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃, looking at it here from this position, in hindsight, looks like a super smart pick. Yeah.
Absolutely. Counters that Yasuo very well. Of course, if Yasuo had gotten off to... Well, he got off to a really good start, but they didn't continue it. If he'd gotten off and kept that running, it does get to a point where he can just auto-attack 𝗧𝗲𝗺 4 times and the 𝗧𝗧𝗺 dies. But LL has done very well, has already got his Leandries completed, will probably go for the Nashes, I would imagine. It's very good into Ornn.
Yeah. I imagine that's the. You could go Rylai's as well to have a little bit better target access for Celebrity later on in the fight, where I feel like later you want to change to Celebrity as your main target because Yasuo will just get exhausted and stunned by 𝗲𝗺𝗺. So you actually don't really have to worry too much about Yasuo later on in the game. And I feel like the main threat will be Celebrity. So for that, Rylai's might be
I think you go Rylai's third. I think Nash's is just too good in the side lane matchup.
I think Nash's is an incredibly powerful item that's overlooked too often. So definitely agree here.
But I mean, it's also particularly good on 𝗧𝗧𝗺.
It is
because of the percent health damage on his passive.
I've actually seen some echoes build Nash's Tooth now.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise
me. Nash's Tooth for 30% CDR and a lot of split push pressure. It's interesting. I want to try it myself, but sadly I suck on Echo, so unlucky.
Wait, that stops you from picking someone? The trick is to just hit the 4 of your rank division, and then it doesn't matter if you win or lose.
You can also just queue up for a normal game, you know?
What's that? I've never heard of this.
Oh God.
Hey, I play Valorant. We don't have ranked.
Fair enough.
Next patch, please, Riot, hurry up. But focusing back in, Shirley is the target, and 15 minutes. Let's look at the item state. What are the big ones that have been completed?
Ezreal. Ezreal is really big.
Yep.
Ezreal is sitting on armor. Ezreal can actually now win the 1v1 against Celebrity. That is something that should never happen, as we see. And 𝗧𝗧𝗺 all in. 𝗧𝗂 is trapped under turret.
Yeah, he'll just chill.
Wow. That was very uneventful. Yeah, but 𝗧𝗂 with a very nicely timed W. It's not hard, of course. He just had to wait for the death grab. It's a very slow skill shot, so you just press W. Didn't get caught. Just stayed out of turret's range or threat's range, and they still get 2 charges. Hello?
Yeah.
Secret? 3 charges.
Secret looked tilted.
I can understand the hesitation. Oh, there's a level 11 Yasuo with flash available.
Yeah, he goes in, goes for the ulti. There will be an 𝗧𝗺𝗺 follow-up, and if they were tilted, they won't be anymore as they pick up 1 easy kill and the stopwatch from 𝗀𝗏𝗵. That was the quickest way to flush 650 gold down the toilet that I've ever seen, as that is an easy double kill, but they get a charge forward. There's some low health bars. 𝗧𝗂 flashes to make sure he's safe. Actually. It was 2 flashes. And now a dragon started up. Does Cerberus want to fight this 3v5? There's a lot of resources on cooldown. Dragon will go over. Team Secret wants to find a way in. 𝗧𝗂 with no knock-up. He's just going to instantly die. And now Yado's arrived. Set tries to hex flash over the wall. Decides not to do it as they're just disengaging. Artifact on the run gets tagged by Yado, but they're under the tower now. They should be safe as they all
𝗧𝗧𝗺 is approaching too.
Barrage. Oh no, this is really bad. This is an absolute massacre. Stop, please. This isn't fair. It's a bit of a war crime here. As Cerberus cleaned them all up. No quarter given. And it looked so good for Team Secret, and then it all went wrong.
And I'm very happy to watch this game unfold, because I feel like the very smart adaptation and draft are coming to fruition for Cerberus. They lost the team fight. It's kind of unfair to say it was a team fight. They just got caught in the mid lane. Nice ambush from Artifact. I have to praise him there. Where he found the angle and stayed true to Yasuo lore, where he did not rely on other champs knocking up people. But let's look at 𝗧𝗂 trolling this fight. Hello?
Yeah, 𝗧𝗂. Has 𝗧𝗲𝗺 like moved out yet? Because if he hasn't, maybe you can get him back.
That was not the greatest on play ever. I also this whole fight started off with mid lane, the composition for Team Secret trying to get a turret. But we talked about this. It's the 4 melee champs composition. They had no wave. They just stood under turret, and one flash after the other was blown, escaping from under the turret. And then afterwards, 𝗂𝗏 knew all the flashes are down, so we can actually engage on this fight, even though it's a 4v5 or whatever the count was.
It started as a 3v5.
Yeah, even 3v5. So. Very smart, once again, from 𝗂𝗏 to acknowledge the fact that even though it's a numbers disadvantage in terms of actual threat in fights, it's an advantage for them. And yeah, I can just repeat myself. I'm very impressed with how 𝗂𝗏 is reading draft and in-game situations so far.
Yeah, 𝗂𝗏 is looking fantastic at the moment. They are absolutely running circles around TS. Oh, this is not good for Secret. They came out a bit too early. They didn't realize the rest of the gang was here. They should be able to get away to tower, but geez, that was close to a real disaster.
Good wind
Another
wall.
one.
The wind wall there
and
blocked.
Now CBL does find 𝗀𝗏𝗺. In they go. 𝗬𝗏𝗺 is the target, but that's not who you want to be Yasuo ulting, because Artifact just has to immediately disengage after the big sword. And now Yasuo gets in a lot of trouble. The pillar goes up. It buys a lot of space, but Team Secret have to disengage, and this should be a free tower.
And this is the big problem when facing a Karma. She is not easy to kill. She has her mantra E, and she has her mantra W to get extra HP, and then shield herself with E. So even though Artifact once again gets the jump on 𝗬𝗏𝗺, this time around it's just half HP, and 𝗬𝗏𝗺 turns around and says, okay, I don't care. My team is now in a winning position because your most important ultimate is now gone for the fight. So Artemis can do whatever he wants. Mordekaiser can do whatever he wants. And even the chase potential is quite nice on 𝗂𝗏 because they have things like 𝗬𝗏𝗺's auto attack slow. They, of course, have the poke from Artemis that also slows. They have the mantra Q that slows. So it's a very annoying team composition to fight against, and Team Secret is struggling to do anything here.
Team Secret is absolutely struggling to do anything. They don't really have anyone to lean on either. Even Artifact, who he was so fed last game, it wasn't enough, obviously. He's not even that fed now. He was 2-0, and now he's 2-3. 𝗧𝗃 taking... 𝗧𝗃's not good at all. I think we can stop picking it for him, guys.
He definitely hasn't looked great. But let's focus on someone else on Team Secret who we haven't talked about too much. 𝗬𝗏𝗺.
Yeah.
So 𝗬𝗏𝗺 was in MVP contention for the spring split. He actually stepped up big time, and even yes, mechanics. Even I am a little bit of a 𝗬𝗏𝗺 doubter, and everyone knows that. But even I had to admit that he had a very strong season, and even picked up 𝗪𝗪𝗪 late in the season in the playoffs. But so far in this game, has he connected? I'm not sure. He's playing PvE so far.
Yeah, I mean, might need to change the name to I don't know. What's
unknown?
Is there a word for unknown? Not a celebrity, because you definitely don't want to keep all your eyes on him at the moment. Yeah, normie. Okay, we'll start calling him a normie. Okay. Oh God, are we fortunate? Oh, the Cloud Drake is picked up, and is of course something we didn't point out is Cloud Rift. Actually, pretty good for 𝗂𝗏𝗺 if they get there. I doubt the game goes that long, but it's very nice for both Mordekaiser and Karma.
It's actually game ending for 𝗂𝗏𝗺 because it's almost impossible already to get on top of that.
They're just going under tower. They're about to break the base. Team Secret have been caught sleeping. Seems like at the moment you don't catch Team Secret sleeping. They're not awake. They don't wake up.
Yeah, they looked at the footage from the last game in the pause, and we're like, okay, on red side, what you have to do is go to side lanes and push turrets. Because 𝗬𝗏𝗺 did that last game very successfully. But in this game, maybe not the correct call. To be fair to them, in this team composition, it's just super hard for them to get any kind of objective. So going to a side lane 1v1 is probably the best choice in terms of how you get turrets with a melee composition. 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 is still standing, by the way, and that is cutting Team Secret's ways of playing around the map in half, or even less than half, because they just can't advance further into the map, because it's too dangerous with the mid-turret still standing.
Yeah, absolutely. 𝗬𝗏𝗺 still only on one item as well, has had to do some funky things with his build, hasn't got the Infinity Edge yet, really needs to finish that item. It's a massive power spike for Yasuo.
Yeah, Karma is close to Ardent Sensor. You have 2 ADCs in your composition, and 𝗬𝗏𝗺𝗁𝗃 who likes attack speed a lot too, and extra on-hit damage. Very nice for 𝗬𝗏𝗃. So Ardent Sensor will be a big thing. Even On actually profits quite a bit from extra attack speed to get more stacks of his passive onto everyone. So
yeah,
once this item is finished, I feel like team fights are almost unwinnable for Team Secret side. They already
it has to be a big Ornhorn into Yasuo.
Yeah, but even then, you still have to household to counter that. So
yeah, okay, but if everyone's
and 4 stopwatches, by the way.
I love that they added that to the game. But yep, 4 stasises available. And this is something we actually said in Champ Select is, yeah, Team Secret can't siege and take objectives, but they also can't wave clear. When this Baron goes down, how do they kill the minions?
Yeah, Baron is a very dangerous objective for them to lose.
And they're going to lose it. DNK's in the death realm.
Oh, a little early on the death realm, though.
They're not going to take the Baron. They're just going to kill him as he tries to flash away. Won't quite get found. The True Shot Barrage misses. So he manages to survive. And now there's a bit of a turn. Cerberus have gotten a little bit cocky here. 𝗬𝗏𝗺 just explodes. And now they're trying to chase onto Artemis. It's Artifact versus Artifact. And it will be a big win for the Ezreal. The Kindred ult does more to help Team Secret than it does to Cerberus. But it doesn't matter as Cerberus have the money. They have the champs. They have the skills. And they have the fight as they get a 3-for-1. And now they can go back to Baron. And Team Secret. I mean, maybe the secret is that they didn't scrim all off-season because they look rough.
Yeah, they look really bad. But to be fair, they actually tried their best here. I don't feel like this was mis-executed on their side. I actually feel like Cerberus played this almost as bad as they could. Not in individual mechanics. Really liked Artemis' sidesteps there. But in terms of what they wanted to go for, I feel like you rather start Baron and then ult the Trundle as soon as he tries to contest. Why are you ulting Trundle this early on?
Yeah, that was a bit silly.
And everyone is disregarding that there's still the wall to flash over. Yeah, that was not the greatest play for Cerberus. Also, just funneling into that choke point, probably not the greatest idea. But now look at Artemis, how he plays against Artifact. This one tornado here, very nicely done.
That Kindred ult was so bad. That Kindred ult was the most solo queue thing I've ever seen.
But to be fair, you can't really do anything wrong with Kindred in this game because the enemy team has higher HP targets, so it doesn't really matter if you heal them again because you have more DPS. You are going to win in the long run. You just have to weather the storm of the engage. So even though I agree that Kindred ult was a little I'm J4, I'm helping style of Kindred ult. Yeah, it doesn't matter in the end.
No, it doesn't at all. They're so far ahead. No member of Team Secret is in a position to carry. Celebrity's 3-2. He has 3 items. He is strong, but he can't do as much as the rest of the team. They're going to get onto Ron-OP here, and you know it's a dire situation when after 3 ultimates, 𝗏𝗏𝗺 is alive. And now Celebrity dives in. He kills the support, but the rest of the team goes down. And Cerberus, they guard the gates of hell, but I think it might be Team Secret trying to come from the other side and climb out of hell, but they've been denied.
What was that? They used every single ult in their arsenal to get on top of 𝗏𝗏, and 𝗏𝗏 in the end is like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll die. Guess I'll die, but who cares? He
didn't even die! He lived through all the ults.
At the very end, after a Celebrity decided to die for him as well, into 5 members of the enemy team. Maybe not what you want to do on this champ. Do we have a last stand?
Oh dear. We might, as the last stand is coming in, 𝗬𝗺 are going low. Team Secret will not be able to hold the Nexus, though. And it is a series win for 𝗬𝗺. A dominating performance in the end. That was one-sided.
What a performance. I am really happy with the form they are showing up in. Of course, not so happy with Team Secret, but this was more... I feel like this game was better from Team Secret. They drafted themselves into a very narrow win condition and in the end failed to execute that win condition because the enemy team also very smartly adapted in draft already with the disengage, very, very disengage heavy composition and banning away 2 engage supports. So they had to go to 𝗧𝗃. 𝗧𝗃 can be nice as an engage support, but not quite as reliant as something like single target CC, Nautilus, and Leona. So I really like the draft from 𝗬𝗺, but the execution held up to that as well. The early game, a little bit more dicey, but after a few fights, they didn't look back at all. And the closing was clean and fast.
Absolutely. So, MVP for game 2, not super easy. I think 𝗬𝗏𝗺 is a strong candidate. Yeah, it was a team effort both games, really. And,
yeah, it's one of the 2 AD carries. I feel like 𝗬𝗏𝗺 was a little bit more impactful. He had the very nice duel there on the top side. And I feel like I want to give the serious MVP to 𝗬𝗏𝗺 as well. Do you agree? Because 𝗬𝗏𝗺 in the second game was a little bit
if that's already been decided, of course, that gets decided just before the game ends because we have to let our production team actually get ready. So don't worry, that'll come up on screen in a sec. But definitely the MVP for game 2 was 𝗬𝗏𝗺. That Ezreal performance was fantastic. And honestly, Team Secret just got rolled.
Yeah.
They got destroyed. They never really looked like they were going to win either match.
They have to work on a lot of things, but most importantly for me, my takeaway as a coach for Team Secret would be I need to make win conditions clearer in draft. I need to focus on teaching players what they have to do in certain compared to the enemy team composition, and keep in mind what they are actually fighting for, because way too many fights were contested for Team Secret. They engaged in the first game when their composition was clearly meant to disengage all the time. They got separated. All this their backline carries couldn't do anything anymore. So very unhappy with how they read the game, and I think that is the first step they need to work on to get back.
Absolutely. But on the other side of the coin, 𝗬𝗺 fans, you should be very, very happy, as that was a super good performance. It wasn't just Team Secret underperforming. 𝗬𝗺 also came in looking really, really hot. Now, of course, we are done for our first series of tonight. It was a fairly quick one, as 𝗬𝗺 made short work of the boys in black and white. But next match is very exciting. It is our match of the week up next. 𝗧𝗲𝗺 taking on 𝗀𝗀𝗃, the dominant performers from the last split until the final, taking on 𝗧𝗲𝗺, who have picked up the big man in the top lane, 𝗧𝗏𝗺. It's going to be an absolute cracker of a series. We have to hope it goes all the way to 3. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you join us for the next one. And we'll see you in not too long, hopefully, for that one.
It's time for 𝗧𝗺 against Levi. Tune in in maybe half an hour. Keep your eyes on the timer.
See you then, guys.